constant rotation, it's all about the wrist.
We're the box office pros, and this is your weekend box office breakdown for January 27th through January 29th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a really great review.
Coming in at number one, we have Split for the second week in a row. The budget has finally been released, and it has officially been officially cost $9 million.
Oh my God.
Excluding marketing. It made another $25.6 million this week, only down 35% from last week.
They made over double their budget 2 weekends in a row.
It's insane. Putting the total gross in the Americas domestically, $77.3 million. Fuck, dude.
Jesus Christ.
That's a whole nother thing. Coming in at number two, we have a new release, A Dog's Purpose, $18.2 million
Good
for them.
for them, man.
Yeah, right?
Being able to come in at number two after the controversy that they just had.
Yeah.
With that video of the German Shepherd being forced and thrown into the pool.
Yeah, I mean, that's touchy. Let's just not.
Yeah, I mean,
cover that here on the Box
we don't
Office
need to
Bros.
get that here. It's just, I'm just saying, like, that's a
I just
very
wanted
impressive.
to. I wanted to give a good segue from the tone.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Throwing the dog, and like PETA is already on our ass right now.
Not ours.
Not from prior charges. No, yeah.
No.
But you throw a dog on a poster, it's gonna fucking make money. $18.2 million again, $22 million budget. They're gonna make their money back, especially with there's international love. I don't know how much the internationals love dogs, but I'm sure dogs are pretty global.
Pretty sure dogs are popular around the world.
Has Kansas gotten dogs yet? 'Cause I know they just got Wi-Fi the other day in Amazon. They haven't gotten Uber yet.
They haven't really gotten. They haven't gotten lights either. Like,
Yeah.
like moving lights.
Yeah, foxes as well.
Yeah.
Fish. We pray for you, Kansas.
Yeah.
Coming in at
You'll get
number
it soon.
3 on its 6th fucking week is Hidden Figures, making it another $14 million for
Catch
them.
the review coming soon.
Yeah, that's going to be a part of our this is actually the first time we'll talk about it, but an official announcement. But starting for 15 days straight, we will have 15 Oscar-nominated movie reviews. So that is where you will see the Hidden Figure review come in. We'll finally give you our Arrival opinions in a formal sense. A lot of good stuff is going to be coming those 15 days. It'll all lead into the Saturday before the Oscars, which will be our Oscar nominations and predictions and all that good stuff. We'll basically be predicting the Oscars, who will win, we don't know. And then Sunday is going to be our all-day live stream. Not all day, but as soon as we feel it's fitting to start, it'll definitely be before the actual physical show starts, sometime during the red carpet, maybe at the beginning of the red carpet. We're going to start drinking, have buddies over, and we're going to have the first official after the previews live event.
Yep.
And
but we digress.
Yeah, we digress. Back to the box office results.
Hidden Figures is number 3.
Yeah, Hidden Figures is number 3. Only dropped 10%, bro. I don't understand it. Dropped 65 theaters, $104 million for this movie
why?
out of $25 million budget.
Because this movie is fucking great. That's why.
Spoiler for the review.
It is. It's really good. I'm guessing that's why it's making so much money and it's only dropping 10% on its 6th week. That's because the word of mouth, man. And again, it did just get nominated for Best Picture, so that's probably helping it out a bit. It only dropped 65 theaters this week.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. I'm going to get into that actually when we talk about number 5. Number 4 is the other new release of this week is Resident Evil: The Final Chapter, $13.6 million for them on 3,000 theaters, $13.6 million in the States. It's their opening weekend. There's a $40 million budget on there. Anything with the final blank in your movie kind of is off-putting because it's like, okay, did I see the rest of these? No. Well, does it justify me seeing the final one? No. All right.
I still think though that they're doing pretty good for
definitely.
I mean, for the fact that they're.
I said it was going to be
Evil.
1, I believe. So that's not the best.
Yeah, I don't remember my predictions to be honest.
Number 5 is La La Land, which is what I was referencing a little bit earlier. On its 8th fucking week in theaters, this movie is just getting nothing but good buzz. Everyone loves La La Land. If you don't love La La Land, you're gonna get arrested. Aziz Ansari cleverly put that out there on Saturday Night Live a few weeks ago, making $12.2 million, gained fucking 45% again, and it gained 1,271 theaters. So that's the piece of information that I didn't know when we made our predictions last week, which was kind of off-putting because if I had known that, I would have put it in my top 5 because it's fucking gonna gain. I mean, we have the information in front of us. We just didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But fucking dude, this movie, man, I didn't know it had 1,000 theaters to gain, and yet it still only came in at 65, and yet Hidden Figures gained or lost 65 theaters, and yet it was above it. So the fact that that's going on is also impressive, because anyone who knows the biggest movie right now, they're probably going to say La La Land. Or what's a movie you want to see? La La Land. What's the best movie you've seen in the past week? La La Land.
Yeah.
Not very many people are talking about Hidden Figures, but these numbers prove that there's more out there than what the average individual would probably portray.
Check this out, too. Hidden Figures is on its 6th week in theaters. La La Land on its 8th week. Hidden Figures is only down as far as like total gross by $2 million.
Damn, that's crazy. And domestically.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well La La Land is in the. There's some creepy ass posters out in like Europe and shit.
You know what's weird about both of these movies too?
What?
Is as far as the international market is concerned, I can't gauge that, because those are both movies that would really resonate with American audiences. Hidden Figures is about racism in the American South and NASA and the American space race. It's a national pride thing and a national history thing, whereas like I can't see people in Europe being like, oh my God, dude, the American space race, that sounds so cool. I mean, that's for all I know, though, the way they teach history in Europe is like, yeah, and then back in the 60s, America had this crazy race with Russia, and like for whatever reason, we were interested. I don't know if the rest of the world was interested in that stuff, but this is definitely, those are both American movies. La La Land is about millennials in Los Angeles and trying to chase a millennial dream and an artist's dream, and it's very, very central to people who live in cities like Los Angeles and maybe even in New York. I haven't seen the movie myself, so I don't know if it would resonate with New Yorkers, but from what I understand, I mean, it's called La La Land. That's a reference to Los Angeles. So from what I understand about this movie, it is very, very like aimed at the millennial, the millennial kid in Los Angeles trying to be an artist with their life. So
I think it's also aimed at the people who were the not millennial kid, but were the person who pursued the dream, still live in Los Angeles, but don't have that A-list job or don't have their career.
Yeah, it's just kind of like failing artists, or not necessarily failing, but like starving artists or struggling.
Starving artists is a great way to put it. I would also say like it questions the idea of what failure is.
Yeah.
And what success is and what is the real riches of life.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's like a very millennial thought, and it resonates a lot with people in these artsy towns like Los Angeles, because that's the life lesson that we're learning.
Just Los Angeles. So
no, exactly.
There's a lot of people wanting to see this movie, but I do get what you mean. Is that Hidden Figures is making pretty much the same money overall in 2 weeks less time. I think that's just a great point to put out there.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that. Another thing that I did catch, though, or that I caught because of the time that you took to explain that, I was looking, man. The 3 movies that were in last week's top 5 that were also in this week's top 5, Split, Hidden Figures, and La La Land, they all stayed at the exact same spot that they were at. And then A Dog's Purpose and Resident Evil took over Sing and Triple X's spot. Speaking of those 2 movies, though, to close out the top 10, 6 through 10. Number 6 is Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage, made $8.6 million, down 57%. Total gross is $33.8 million domestically on an $85 million budget. It's on its 2nd week, so obviously this movie's gonna drop.
People were talking after the 1st week, and they're like, "Yo, you don't need to waste your time seeing Triple X." Clearly, it dropped over half.
I almost did, but I didn't.
I almost did.
I think the mindlessness of it may be an easy watch for people in international places. So
absolutely, I think I still stand by what we said last week, that they're not gonna worry about it so much, because $85 million budget for an action movie of that spectacle, or of that not of that spectacle, but that much explosions and stunts and shit that they got to do. Like,
this isn't even a movie that is of a franchise that really needed another sequel, dog.
Absolutely.
And Vin Diesel wasn't even the original star of this franchise.
No, he was. Vin Diesel was the original star, and then Ice Cube came in the second one.
Okay. I thought it was backwards. I thought Ice Cube was the original star, and then Vin Diesel was the secondary character.
No.
So Ice Cube was the secondary character, and Vin Diesel was the star. Then Ice Cube had his own little run at it, and then this is the return of the original character, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Given by the name? Return to Xander Cage?
Yes.
Perfect.
And Xander Cage was not in
That
Triple
was
X.
too much lore to the. I don't care about this world,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that there was enough for me to like actually have to divulge
And
into
have to
right
think
there.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Xander Cage wasn't even in State of the Union. And apparently Ice Cube is in this one, so it's like a mesh of the two movies combined. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not something we have to think about.
It's all good. Down from number 4 at number 7 is Sing, making $6.4 million. Only dropped 28%, 2,700 theaters. Dropping by the day, though. $257.5 million total gross in the domestics. $75 million budget on its 6th week. Number 8 is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. $5.2 million for them, down 26%. Drop in theaters as well. $520 million in the States alone on a $200 million budget on its 7th week in release. That is insane. Already crossed $1 billion worldwide. It's going to keep climbing. Probably going to hit that 1.5 by the end of this fucking run. If it's still here in the top 10 on its 7th week, then I can only imagine how much money it's going to nickel and dime for the next few months. Remember how Suicide Squad was just continuously just on the 20s and 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
It might even be in the top 50 still. But coming in at number 9 is a shit movie, down from number 7. Monster Trucks, put out by Paramount. $4.1 million for them. Somehow, some way, they're still scrounging some dimes. $28.2 million.
Even Paramount doesn't like this movie.
This budget is still not released, and it's on its 3rd week. It's number 9 on its 3rd week.
They don't want
They already
anyone to
wrote it
know.
off last year. It doesn't matter. They need it away from them. They need to put out Transformers immediately, and they need to start maybe promoting the what other
G.I.
movie?
Joe
No, the next
Transformers
movie they have.
crossover.
Yeah, that's not happening. But they have a movie coming. Baywatch, I think, is Paramount this year.
Is Baywatch Paramount?
Yeah, I believe so. Or it's Sony, and I could be wrong. But number 10, the only other new release this week that is even in my sights in the top like 20 or so is Gold.
I
Put
will
out by
be
the
seeing this
Weinstein
one soon.
Company. Made $3.4 million on 2,100 theaters. So hats to them. Can you tell people why they may want to see it? And we got to wrap this up and bring it back to our future selves.
Oh yeah, Gold. Oh yeah, like I forgot. Gold. Gold is this really cool story about this guy who I can't remember his real name. It's Kenny something. But he
Kenny Kyle Garrett.
Yeah, right. What, Kenny Kyle Garrett?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. Kenny comes in here. Anyway, this dude Kenny something or another, he like broke his shit, and he needs to make money. And for whatever reason, he thinks, okay, I'm gonna invest all this money into finding gold in some country, some third world country. I can't remember where it is, but there is a real life scandal that happened with some mining company maybe a decade ago, and I'd have to reread the story because it was months and months ago that I read about it. But I think that gold, the story is mostly true that they're telling in this movie, and even in the trailers they say something like based on a kind of a true story, or they based on a story too good to be true, some shit like that. So it's
Clickbait.
kind of, yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of a true story, like in the same sense that Titanic is kind of a true story.
We should put after the previews podcast, too good to be true.
Yeah, right.
Like, what the...
So anyway, I think that this movie Gold is going to touch on this mining company scandal, and the story itself is really interesting. So if you can, with all this vague information I'm giving you, find out what it is I'm talking about on the internet, because the internet has, all the true answers of the world. Find what I'm talking about there if you can, and watch Gold, because apparently it's supposed to get into that, and I think that's going to be really interesting if it does. So here comes Garrett back with our predictions from last week.
Very loudly and sloppily. I forgot my book, the trusty book. Last week's predictions, Kyle had Split at 1.
Yes.
Resident Evil at 2, Triple X at 3, Dog's Purpose at 4, and Hidden Figures at 5. I had Resident Evil at 1, Split at 2, Dog's Purpose at 3, Triple X at 4, and Sing at 5.
All right, I get 1 point.
So Kyle got 1 point total for the year at 2-2.
Hell yeah, tied it up.
We're the Box Office Bros. Thank you for experiencing this box office prediction, or this box office breakdown for January 27th through the 29th. Back to our future selves.
Take it away, future me.
I want like the little cricket, like or the frog.